Oh boy, job layoffs, God, and side hustles and full-time hustles and all that fun stuff. This show is going to be awesome.
I can't believe he's doing this again.
Getting ready for another season?
This is so incredible.
There's a lot more gems, a lot more web stuff, and a lot more interviews. I feel like I'm a freaking cloud nine when I do this stuff.
This is definitely the favorite part of my day.
Seriously, you should stick around if you want your mind blown.
I'm not even a millionaire yet, but that's the whole point. It's my story, my journey, and my ride.
Welcome to the new Developer to Millionaire. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Developer to Millionaire. So check this out. This is the first episode. I switched up my mic. I messed up the stand. I got this whole thing working out for me. I'm actually standing up, so I feel a lot more energetic. I feel great. I can actually move around. If I was on video, you'd probably see me wiggling a lot. I'm shaking my arms, but it's good because I want to get that energy going with this podcast. Now, this podcast is near and dear to me. It's another solo episode, and the reason why it's near and dear to me is because I'm going through some stuff, man. I am a normal human being. I would love to say I've got everything locked and I know everything and I'm the best at everything, but I'm not, okay? For the past 13 years, guys, I have been working full-time at a job. I've worked for large companies. I've worked for small companies. I've worked freelance. I've just always worked a job. And for the first time, well, not really the first time because I've been laid off before, but for the first time in a long time where I'm actually an adult, right? I have a house, I have a family, I have kids. And last week I got laid off, and it's a big transition for me. It's something that I was expecting for a long time to happen, but you never really prepare for that moment. You know what I mean? I've been side hustling, and I'm going to call it the side hustle because Surefire Web Services, for the longest time, a lot of people may have thought that it was a full-time thing for me, but it wasn't. It was a side hustle, and I just made that shit work, and it worked well, and it was great. It was good side money. I was, killing it for a while. And the thing with the side hustle is there's no pressure, right? I have the steady income with the job, so there's no pressure for me to have to make a certain amount of money by the end of the month, right? And I think that's the beauty of a side hustle. So if you head over to johnperez.me, that's my new website. That's the stuff where I'm promoting mastering the side hustle and the whole business side of basically the web industry, being a web creator, a web designer, web developer, anything web related. That's where I'm putting down all my thoughts, because I thought that I would be a side hustler, I guess, forever, right? Until that side hustle earned enough to replace the full-time, then I probably would have made that jump. But for the longest time, it just hasn't been like that. I have been a side hustler for the past 8 years. That's when Surefire Web Services started, and it's been a big transition since last week when I got laid off, because now I'm no longer side hustling. Now I have to make this my daily grind. And there's a very big different mind shift when you start to go from, oh, I've been working on my business part-time for a while. Now I have to go into it full-time. And a lot of people are like, that's great. It's going to be awesome. You're going to rock. You could do this, blah, blah, blah. And I love that. It's very encouraging. But the reality is reality, right? So I want to go over like two things that really just started messing with my head, and the differences between the side hustle and the main hustle and this whole transition. The first thing is with the side hustle, I can really take my time with things, right? I didn't have to get money in today or money in that week or money in whatever it was. You know what I mean? I could do a slow month and it wouldn't bother me, because I know that I'm taking the time and I'm building something up and I'm, growing and doing certain things that I need to do. It's when that shift happens, and now I no longer can pace myself, that I have to switch into this super hustle make money mode, right? So the side hustle is a growth factor. It's like this growth thing where if you do have a full-time job and you're listening to me, the side hustle is amazing because you can take your time, you can formulate articles, you can put together different strategies, you could do all your funnels, you could do all those sorts of things. And once you put those together, then you can start getting some income and experimenting and trying out all this stuff, right? So there's no immediate pressure to pay your bills that month because you've got a job. Your job is taking care of that stuff. Your side hustle is just your side hustle. So there were months where I've made, like $1,000, and there are months where I've made like $10,000, and it's awesome, and it all balances. And at the end of the year, it comes out to be like pretty good money, right? But now, the full time thing is okay. I can't pace myself as much as I want to pace myself, and I'm still adjusting to this whole like you have 8 hours to do things, because I'm used to kind of compressing that into 2 hours and then just kind of being on my way. But with the 2 hours, I would get what I have to get done, and then I would pace myself. There was no rush. I didn't need that income. Now that I'm full time, there is this like need to have a specific number by the end of the month. I mean, this must be the pressure that salespeople feel when like the boss is yelling at them, make your quota. You got to make your quotas. This is what it is. I have some things lined up, but guys, man, wow. Whew, it's pressure. It's pressure. It's pressure that I put on myself. And it's this necessity of, okay, I don't want to just put things out there and be like, okay, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me, pay me. But I mean, the truth is, I have a mortgage now. I got 2 kids. They go to school. I have a car. I have 2 cars. I have, my phones. I have this lifestyle that I've built for myself. And now that mainstream of income has died, and I have to rapidly build up this side hustle and turn it into a full-time hustle. And I don't know if there's anyone who's done that. I'm sure there's like a million people who have done that, but I mean the initial week, the initial 2 weeks, I don't know how long this lasts, but it's a little nerve-wracking. It's a little nerve-wracking to kind of say, man, like I can't pace myself anymore. I have to rush, I have to go in, and I have to grind. I have to reach out to people, make some more connections, do this, do that, offer some things to people, and really just try to grow and make that impact that I would normally have paced out, 3-4 months. Now I got 3-4 weeks. And it sucks, guys. It sucks. It's real. It's real. Kudos to you guys doing it full time. My whole adjustment right now is taking that 2-3 hours that I used to do things in, maybe 4 if it was a really crazy day. And now that I have 8 hours, it's weird to me to have 8 hours to do all this stuff, and it's almost, I don't know the right word, like not procrastinating, but just trying to trying to fill that time with things that matter, because there's a lot more time. So now where I used to have the one thing a day, which I still have, today's my podcast day, but it's now like, okay, I can get more than one thing a day done. I have to start filling that up, but not only filling that up, really prioritizing, what's going to pay the bills, right? What's going to bring in money right now so that I can free myself for the next thing. I did a dev diary about this actually. I did a few things about this, the transitions. And when I initially started talking about it, it was the transitions from, let's say you're doing website design and then you transition to marketing or something like that. Just like in industry shifts, where you start doing one thing to make money and then you switch it to do another thing. And let's see, I did an episode with Kim Doyle on it because she was going through some transitioning. I did a dev diary on it, and I also had a podcast called Web Designers Are Like Drug Dealers. And the basic premise was whenever you do have these transitions, you either have to save up a lot of money so that you can smoothly transition to something else, or you cold turkey it and you hit that ground running. And because things like layoffs aren't really predicted, you get told on like a Monday, hey, tomorrow you're not working. It's like, well, I was not prepared for this. And then all of a sudden Tuesday comes and you're like, all right, what do I do? Like that was me last week. Last week when I got the word, it was Monday around like 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, end of the day, Monday. And then I got called into the office and they're like, all right, this sucks, John, but we're gonna have to lay you off. I was like, what? Like Monday? You're telling me Monday at 4 o'clock? So like tonight I have to go home. I got to tell my wife. I got to tell my father-in-law because he watches my kids. I got to tell everybody. And then tomorrow I have to, I got to figure something out, right? Oh my God. Talk about pressure and all this stuff that goes through your mind and you're doing all this. It's really something else. So anyway, so as soon as I got that, I packed up my stuff. I said bye to everybody because I was there for about 6 years. I've been wanting to go full time on my own, but I think it's a lot easier when you make the decision versus it being forced on you. So, like back in in January, I wanted to start off the new year just saying, okay, I'm going to do Surefire full time. Then, of course, I had everybody like, do you have a plan? Do you have this? Do you have that? And, I thought about it. I had the plan. I had the idea. Some personal things happened. I wasn't able to do it. So, fast forward. Now we're in March, and then all of a sudden it happens. So after work, I started making a few phone calls, calling some people, letting some people know, telling other people that, hey, listen, you've wanted me to work on your stuff for a while and the whole full-time thing has been an issue. Well, I'm no longer full-time, so give me a ring. So I reached out to a couple of people doing that. And then, that like it was just a tough week. I had it planned out to just work on johnperez.me, which is where you're going to be hearing this from podcast from now on. And I wasn't in a rush to do it. I had my plan. I was going to put it all together, organize some posts and things like that. And then all of a sudden, Tuesday came and I was like, oh crap. All right, I got to do johnperez.me and I have to restructure Surefire Web Services to make a little more sense. And it was tough. It was a lot of work that I did. So from Tuesday to basically Friday, that's what I was working on. I was a little MIA. I usually email every day. I was just on my computer. I'm like, okay, get these posts up, switch this, change the homepage message, just make it look a little decent. What color do I use? I was just putting everything up there. And, anytime you do a website, the big stuff is easy. And then it's just the little things that just take forever. So I had the site design up, I had the content, but then it was just, okay, now import these posts. Now I got to set up the redirects. Now I have to, change the opt-ins. Now I have to do, and it was just a lot of little things that just kept adding up and up and up and up. But I managed to do it. And actually I ended up doing it a little early. I finished by Thursday and I was wiped. I was shot. Thursday was around and I was like, finally, okay, website's up. And I'm good to go. Everybody go on it, and I'm going to sleep. That was basically Thursday. Then Friday came around. I think Friday it was hitting me a little more, and I was like, oh man, I gotta start making. I gotta make money fast. I gotta make money quick. I mean, I had a little savings, but I don't want to drain my entire savings on me trying to do this. So now the thought started coming in. Okay, do I apply for other jobs? Should I just start, calling different companies and like, what do I do? And I was lost. I was very confused. And when you think like that, your mind starts to drive you a little nuts. You could really start just going everywhere with it. So it hit me. It hit me a little bit on Friday, and I was a little sad. I think that's normal. First time going through these motions and going through these things, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So I had a good weekend though. Monday came around, and Monday I kind of just let everything go. I was like, you know what? Let me just hang out. I was watching my kids, and I was hanging out with my son. We were just watching TV, and I wasn't even thinking about work. And I was like, I don't want to get so caught up in all this stuff because I'm just gonna drive myself nuts. Now I'm a believer too. I don't know how many of you guys listening believe in God, but I was really heavily praying and getting into the Bible and all that stuff. And I gotta say that really helped me a lot. And in understanding, the situations that I was facing and even the things that I've asked for, because I've asked for this, guys. Like it wasn't something that was like, oh, you're going full time now. Like I've been wanting something like this for a while, and I was going to make the choice in January. I just never did. So then when March came and it hit me, I mean, this was something that I've been asking for. And quick story, for those who don't believe, it's fine, just listen to the story. So the last Sunday, well, me and my family, we went to church. They gave this great message on breaking down the walls of your faith and like what you believe, and then the different stages and stuff like that. And one of the issues that I deal with a lot is I think about work all the time. And it sucks because it starts to kind of consume you, and you kind of detach yourself from everything else. So, I was praying about not doing that. Like, I don't want to be detached from everything. And I kind of wanted to grow in my own faith. So that's what I prayed for. And then, my wife had some things happening with her that she had to get off her chest. And then that night we spoke a lot about, what's going to be in our future. Is it going to be Florida? We both had our desires, mine being wanting, to go full time with Surefire. This is Sunday night. I want to go full time with Surefire. My wife wants to be a guidance counselor. And there's these things in the Bible. One thing says, don't worry about tomorrow because today has its own problems, right? So I that came to my mind, and I brought that up, and I was like, listen, don't worry about tomorrow. Today has its own issues. You can't, you don't know what's going to happen 5 years from now. So let's just worry about today, and then, we'll figure out whatever happens when it happens. That Monday, I have this Bible app. The word of the day, the scripture of the day, was that same verse that I was talking about on Sunday night. So I looked at it, I was like, what? I was like, this is exactly what we were talking about. So I sent it to my wife. She's like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, blah, blah, blah. Then I get a call from one of my friends. And I haven't spoken to her in like a while. She used to work with me, and they laid her off like 6 months ago. So we're talking, and she's telling me, oh, be careful. There's a lot of things happening at your job. I still talk to a few people there, and, I just want you to be prepared or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I get it. I've been kind of preparing for something for a while, but, you never know what happens. Spoke to her for like an hour and a half, something like that. Hung up the phone. Next, and then that very same day was when I got laid off. And when it all happened, I was thinking, man, this can't be coincidence. Like this sucks, but I'm not super sad about it right now. So it was pretty crazy a couple of days. And then when I told my wife, she was just like, that's weird because we kind of expected it. So, have a beer, just chill out for today, and then we'll get through it. So that's kind of the situation what happened. And that's why I've been praying a lot. I've been reading my Bible. I've been going through this whole thing, and every time I read or every time I pray or something like that, it kind of just comes back into the picture of what's going on in my life, why I'm going through the things I'm going through, and how I'm going to persevere. Now, what's really even more crazy about this is the Friday before I got laid off. My wife was owed some money, and she ended up getting 2 checks, which was freaking incredible. Then that Tuesday, we got our tax return. And then that Friday again, I got my check, which was a 2 week severance, and then my regular paycheck. So, without even doing anything, we're getting worried about paying the bills and going through all this, the motions of, okay, you don't have a job, how are we going to make money, and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden we get like all these checks and then all this money, and then like we're good. We're good. It's given me enough time to, put towards my business and refocus on the things that are important and the things that I have to do. And I can't tell you the timing of all of this. To me, it just can't be coincidental. Like everything just came in at once. I personally believe that it was in preparation for all of this, because something about Monday, I kind of knew that like that was a day that something was going to happen. Even last year, me and my wife were talking about transitions and big changes happening in 2017, and we didn't know what they were going to be, but it was just something that we had in our hearts and our mind, and we were talking about it. And then come January, my wife gets a new career direction. And now in March, still in the beginning of 2017, here I am building my business, johnperez.me and Surefire Web Services, to go into full-time mode. So it's been quite a journey, and it's just been crazy, guys. It's just been crazy for me, and I'm getting like shakes. I'm getting like a little shaky. Yeah, it's just been incredible. So now I'm in the whole transition of, focusing and refocusing on priorities, right? Like what has to get done, and what doesn't have to get done. When you're doing your side hustling and you're building all that stuff up, you don't need to focus so much on the now, right? Most businesses, I mean, Gary Vee says it all the time. He says hustle, 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 but he even says that it's a long game. Like you got to be patient, right? You have to wait. And that's true, but it's a lot easier to wait when you have an income coming in, right? When you don't have an income coming in, waiting is not exactly your top priority. You can't say, oh, well, I have this 6-month strategy to build an audience and do this, but in those 6 months, I have no income and I don't know what I'm going to do. So, waiting has its place, and there's places for other things. So right now, that transition is for me. I'm trying to get more recurring type services going, because much like a paycheck, when you're in the web industry, constantly chasing new clients and going after new clients just sucks. It's always a selling game. You have to resell, you have to resell, you have to resell. After you sell something, then you have to work on it. Then you have to, put everything together. Then you have to set things up. And then once you don't sell, hopefully, not once you're done with the project, then hopefully you get them on like a maintenance or a hosting or just anything like that. But it's just this constant game that you play, right? So you could get a $10,000 project, a couple $5,000 projects, maybe some $3,000 projects, whatever it is. It's just always something that you're chasing after. So a lot of people will always wonder, well, how do I get clients? Well, the long-term game is you build yourself up to be an authority in some type of niche, whatever you want, pet stores. I initially chose Genesis, and I would write all about Genesis, and then I went to Beaver Builder. So I have a very, development-centered, I guess, niche that I was doing. And the more you write, the more you put yourself out there, the more you engage with specific communities, the more you talk to people, the more you get known. Now, this is a long-term strategy. The more you get known, the more people will start to see you as an authority. This comes down to everything that you're writing, everything that you're putting on social media, and everything that you're putting out there. So once you're an authority, leads naturally will come in. Hey, I saw your article on this, wondering if you could help me. Hey, I saw you on this website. Wondering if you could help me. Oh, I spoke to blah blah blah. They referred me to you because they said you'd be the perfect person for this. And it just kind of goes like that. It just keeps going. Um, so that's how you kind of build up the long term. And leads will come. One thing that I hate doing, I'm putting a lot in this podcast, by the way, but one thing that I hate doing is bidding for projects. I don't like, to me, when you bid for something, it's almost like you lose control of what you need. And I'm going to be putting this in a course that I'm working on, how to manage your clients. But if someone comes to me as a lead and they say, "Oh, we're looking for blah 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 blah, can you help us out?" I'd usually respond like, "Sure, could you send me more details?" And then I ask a random question: "Is there anyone else that you're looking to have this done for you?" That makes sense. Like, is there anyone else that, like, are you shopping around basically? It's actually in my top 10 things that if you're shopping around, please don't ask me for a quote because I don't like competing with people. And the reason I don't like competing with people is because everyone says the same thing over and over and over again. And when you're shopping around, the real question isn't, oh, who's going to give me the better proposal and blah, 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 blah. Because the job is the job, right? I need a website. I need this. Can you do it? And the answer is either yes, I can, or no, I can't. That's why proposals are just total BS. You're going to shop around for 10 people. They're going to give you the same proposals and you're going to read, and whatever has a prettier header or whatever has a cheaper price or whatever the case is, you're going to pick that one. So I was in a situation a while ago where someone told me that, and they said, "Oh yeah, well, we have about 3 or 4 proposals right now. So if you could just send us your proposal, that'd be great." And I said no. I said I'm not going to do that. I said, "Why don't you?" I have the emails too. I should put them up. I said, "Instead of me sending you a proposal, why don't you tell me exactly what you're looking for in any of these proposals that's going to stand out to hire somebody?" Because I can regurgitate the same thing that everyone else is. And then I wrote a few things. I'll give you a WordPress site. I'll give you this many pages. I'll build it out. I'll design it and blah, 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 blah. But what specifically are you looking for? Are you price shopping? Are you looking for a specific need that you need, that is something that's going to catch your eye? I said, talk to me. Tell me what it is you need, because for me to spend an hour or 2 hours on a proposal, it's just not going to work. It doesn't make any sense. I'm going to say the same thing everyone else said. So let's cut down to the chase. What are you looking for? Let me see if I can help you. And they liked it. They liked that response. They loved the brutal honesty, and I got the job. I'm not saying that works for every single person, but I mean, that just goes to why proposals are just nonsense. Like, you don't get a proposal to win the job. There's something in there that the client is looking for. So you have to kind of get that out of them. Like, what are you looking for? Why are you shopping around? Are you shopping for the cheapest price? Are you looking for a specific type of personnel? Like, what are you looking for? And that's what you kind of have to get out of it. So that's my whole spiel on proposals. I forgot why I was even talking about proposals. I guess that happens. Anyway, so that's the whole thing. I don't want to get into selling new clients and doing proposals and doing all of this stuff over and over again. So my focus right now is site management, which actually Jason Resnick did this. I have to hit him up, have a little chat with him. Hopefully he'll be on the podcast soon. But he basically productized his offerings. He has a set rate and that's what he offers. He has another set rate and that's what he offers. So I did something similar on my site. It was for a monthly fee. I basically manage your website, and it works. I have to get the word out there, but it works in a sense that there are people that need a tech person, right? A web designer or a web developer or someone who's going to do it, because most businesses, they'll either hire someone and they'll end up paying them between 40 and 80 grand, maybe even more, depending on the experience. And they'll hire these people to kind of manage their websites. And, sometimes there's something missing or there's not there, but it's a lot of money. If you're going to spend 80 grand on somebody, that's a lot of money. A lot of these smaller businesses can't do that. So you'll see a lot of hiring requests for junior developers, just junior positions, 1 to 3 years experience. And they do that for two reasons. One is budget. They probably don't have the budget for someone more experienced. Or two is they want to train them to kind of work how they want to work. So that's kind of like that little in-between spot that I want to get in. The person that's hiring the junior developer but wants a senior position just doesn't have the budget. I don't know if you're looking to train somebody that doesn't really fall into the audience that I'm kind of trying to reach, but it's that main company that's looking for that. So when they want to hire someone, what do they ultimately want them to do? They want them to build the site. They want them to manage the site. And that's the service that I'm providing and trying to squeeze into. The second thing is for all the agencies, developers, freelancers, designers. You guys need someone to do that other half that you hate, right? Developers don't like to design. You need a designer. Designers hate to code. You need a developer. Agencies need help. You get a lot of work. You can't handle all the work you're getting. Or you want someone to just manage some high level clients that you have, and you don't have the budget to hire someone else. Or you need someone on staff. It would be awesome to have an experienced person, but you can only afford a junior person to kind of work their way around. So that's the other niche that I'm going after, is these agencies that want to fill in this void with a senior WordPress developer / designer, and they don't have the budget for it. So it's a great way for me to kind of offer myself personally, give my attention to specific projects besides spreading myself thin and doing like, okay, you want a website? Okay, here it is. Oh, you don't want to get maintenance? Okay, now I got to find someone else that needs a website. I don't want to do that. So now everything's going to recurring. And what's great about this is once that's settled, I'm only taking on a handful of clients. There's no way I'm going to take on like 20, 30 clients. It's literally going to be like 5 clients max. And that's who I'm going to help day to day with their websites, with their projects, with everything. And what that's going to do is it's going to almost be like having a full-time job, which is great because now that money is coming in, the money is flowing, and now I can start to showcase. I can start to show things. I could share with you guys, with the people listening, with my developer audience, with my devonaires. I can start doing more training and showing them how I did certain things. This is how I built this website. This is how I got this kind of traffic. This is an experiment that I'm working on. Here are my videos. Here's what I'm doing here, and blah, blah, blah. And it just keeps going and going and going, right? So it's that flexibility, whether you're doing this full time or you're doing this as a side hustle. Always remember that side hustle allows you to pace yourself out so that you can be where you want to be when you're ready to be where you want to be, right? Grow your traffic, build your audience, build something with that focus in mind. My mistake was it took me too long to get to the point where I realized that I was building something. I'm 6 years in. I should have an email list of like 10,000 people and I should have 10,000 people a day on my website. You know what I mean? But because I couldn't figure it out, I couldn't focus it so much on what I needed to focus it on, it became scattered. The messages became loose. It got very, very specific. So small groups of people would follow me, and then I abandoned them because I didn't want to do that anymore. And that's just kind of like the history of what I was doing. I'm just trying to find myself out, trying to figure things out. So I realized this last year and even some of this year, and it's just always just constantly learning and learning and learning. But now I don't have that time to experiment and try to do things. Now I'm just going. I'm hit the ground running, and I am working on some deals, and that's just what it is. So with your side hustle, pace it out, do what you got to do, experiment, but make sure that you are building that audience. With the full-time guys, I can't stress enough how important it is to get some kind of recurring revenue, whatever it is. It doesn't even matter. Hosting, maintenance, site builds, contract, whatever it is. It's that security that you need, right, to for your business, so that you can focus on the other things that matter. I can't tell you how many people in the web industry don't pay attention to their own websites because they're too busy building everyone else's websites. And that's fine. But imagine that you didn't need 500 clients, right? Imagine that you worked with 5 or 10 clients at most, and that was your income. Maybe you lose 1 or 2 down the way, keep those relationships building, and hopefully you gain another ones. But having that specific thing there will give you the bandwidth to start the podcast, to start doing more videos, to focus on your marketing, to experiment with things that once you learn them, now you can apply them to your own clients and say, hey, listen, I can grow your traffic. I just did this. Let me do it on your website too. So it's a whole learning game. And that's where I am, guys. That's kind of where my head is. Just trying to land some deals. So if I've been quiet for a while, I do apologize, especially with the emails. I know I haven't been emailing daily. And I just moved to the johnperez.me. So make sure you check out johnperez.me also. That's where the Devonaires are going to be. That's where this whole podcast moved to. And Surefire Web Services is officially the business. So any dev work, design work, things like that, tutorials, even training on how to build. I'm going to start working on more of those. That's going to be all at surefirewebservices.com. But this podcast, johnperez.me. That's what it is. That's the new home. And everyone listening is officially a Devonaire, because this is the Developer to Millionaire podcast. God bless you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. As always, if you get a chance, please head over to iTunes. Give me a rating, write a comment. I just love to hear any feedback that you guys have. It's always inspiring for me to just keep on pushing and keep doing what I'm doing. So if this has helped you in any way, or if you just enjoyed listening to it, just let me know. You could head over to iTunes, Developer to Millionaire, and you guys rock.